Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Annabelle Comes Home. And this is the latest film in the Conjuring universe. This is the third Annabelle film. It's a prequel to some films. I guess this is an actual sequel to the original Annabelle. I actually had to look up the Conjuring universe timeline because things are just moving all over the place. But this film is directed by Gary Doberman, who has worked as a writer on most of the other Conjuring universe films, and this is his first time directing, taking over for James Wan. And I have to say, my two favorite Conjuring universe films are the actual first two Conjuring films, because James Wan is an extremely talented director and really knows how to do horror. And I'm actually a little concerned because he's not directing the third Conjuring film that's coming out, but this got some alright reviews, honestly, and going into this film, basically at this point I've never been huge into horror, but I've been getting a lot more into it, is as long as this actually does something more than just like jump scare after jump scare on a bunch of people I don't care about. And this film does a decent job of making me actually care about them. I have to say the best part of this film, honestly, is the beginning part. And you actually start with Ed and Lorraine Warren, Patrick Wilson, and Vera Farmiga at the beginning of this film. And there's a sequence where they first pick up Annabelle. And that's great. And there's some great moments in it, great tension, very well done suspense building. And those characters, honestly, are one of my favorite relationships and couples in film, because they work so well together. They have great chemistry, and both of them have great charisma, and you really care about them. And that's why the beginning of this movie pops so much for me. Then where the actual story takes place is a year after they bring Annabelle home, and their daughter, played by McKenna Grace, who is absolutely fantastic in this film. She really owns it. She's a very talented young girl, and I'm looking forward to her being into more films because she really owns this film and anchors it. She really is great with showing the emotion and actually has great screen presence, which is really impressive. And it's about the two girls that are babysitting her, and then, of course, I was expecting this film to be dumb, like, oh, I'm going to let out this stuff because why the hell not? And then there's your haunted house movie. But they actually had motivations pushing them for particular things in this film. You didn't get to see a whole lot of it, and most of it's told, but the two young women, Madison Isserman and Katie Sarif, they're both very talented and made me care about them on some level. Once this film gets going, a lot of the film is jump scares and building up jump scares, which a lot of it felt cheap because it's just like loud noises, and it's just like, why? But to give this film some credit, there are some points where it does build up some tension and gives you some false scares and actually makes you question when things might come out. But for the most part, once this film gets going, it's jump scare setup, jump scare setup, jump scare setup. And it's just filled to the brim with all kinds of weird creatures and demons and stuff, and it's just like, how many more spin-offs can they make of the Conjuring movies? Because here's a new demonic presence, here's a new demonic presence, you get a movie, you get a movie, you get a movie. And that's basically where this has been going. And overall, I think this was a pretty fun time. I enjoyed it. It did freak me out, but to be fair, I get freaked out really easily by horror movies. But I did legitimately get scared, and I was sitting there kind of like this in the theater, because it's like, oh no, nope, I'm going to get freaked out. This is fun. But there's some other characters that kind of come in and out of the film that are just kind of blah. But really, from the center of this film, it's a fun time. It's a solid horror film, and if you're really into horror, you go check this out, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you're somebody who really, really, really cares about horror and the craft of building suspense and horror and terror, this might be a little lackluster for you. But I enjoyed it. It scared me. I enjoyed the characters well enough, and honestly, I'd like to see more of the Warrens' daughter, and then obviously the Warrens in films from this universe. I do wish that James Wan was a little more involved in directing some of this film, but honestly, Gary Doberman does a fine job. There's a couple of sequences where you can tell he's like pretty influenced by James Wan, but there you go. He's been working with him and writing on his films for a long time. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.